We have a quorum tonight, we're only missing one member. So with that, I'd like to call the meeting of the Hartsville Carrollton County Industrial Development Board. To order. And let's all stand, get a flag and back of the board. All with my allegiance in the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we take the agenda tonight, I'd like to recognize Ms. Amanda Second of the Tennessee Central is joining us tonight. She, I think, is going to try to join us regularly if your schedule allows, so we are glad to have you. Moving on to item 4, the minutes. They are attached. This is Paul's first of the minutes, so we're very good, thanks to that. If you haven't had an opportunity to read it, go ahead and do that now.
I'll make the motion to accept the minutes.
We have a motion to accept
Second.
and a second by.
Second.
We'll call the end. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 5 is our treasurer's report. Also in the package, there's only been one transaction for this period, and that was a reimbursement check to me. For the Retail Live National event that Paul Knudsen and Mayor McCall attended. Other than that, that was the only transaction. Our balance is 63,696.55. Have a motion to approve.
Make the motion to approve.
Lee, make the motion. Second.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is an update on the retail strategy conference that Mr. Knudsen and the attended. So if you guys would like to bring us up to speed on what you learned, we would appreciate doing that.
Well, we were there for the whole thing. It was interesting, I'll say that, if you've never been, it was kind of fun. What's the company we work with? They had a luncheon for us, and then they had prepared some information based on your community breakdown and the companies that you should talk to. And so we hit up Wawa. What do you say? I just we'll go through the business cards I collected.
They said in this large meeting, they had all these tables set up with all these different companies that you could go visit. Most of which at this point in time would not be interested in Hartsville City, but one thing we learned was the different customers about $3 million a year. And Popeyes would want to turn about $1.5 million and make it work, and they would be most interested in. On the left-hand side of town going toward Galveston, coming in right-hand turn, that's what they're looking for. Here's just how much land out there. It was,
Now, they said if they had a piece of property, they were ready to build. I mentioned Hartsville to other people motor phone. It's funny, you know, they, of course, I'm a Delphi hold up when it comes to phones, but they got everything on stupid phones. We stopped at McDonald's. Thank you for being the internet. You can't put it in there and show, yeah, that McDonald's was doing well. Same way with Sonic. Boom on the phone, they can tell you what the Sonic does. It also does very well. And Popeyes lady was there, you can just put it in your phone and said, oh yeah, Hartsville's on our short list. You got a piece of property on the PM side of town? We don't really at this point, but. Well, I wasn't familiar with Wawa, I've never heard of it before, but, they were, they existed, you know, to keep us on the list, let us know, if we need to be a little bigger.
And you know,
Ace Hardware was not there, I tried to track them down, they did not have a table. There was an interesting, company that I talked to later at a luncheon. There's in California, but they do a very detailed study based on everybody's cell phones, of the traffic that goes through town, how they go through, whatever. And they'll update that weekly for you. Service was $300 a month. But they said after you get like a year's worth of data, you can target lots of different companies that use that information then to decide whether they're interested in coming or not. It amazes me what they can do with those cell phones.
another thing that was that big Las Vegas meeting every year, and unless you have a like retail strategy, they can set up those meetings for you. So that's kind of how you work moving forward. You know, it's all relationship and networking and,
Well, I do believe it's all about relationships, and I also had a teleconference with Mill Graves on the 28th for about an hour. And there's a lot of activity happening that we really don't see, and we went over a lot of that. Popeyes appears to be the hottest lead we have right now. They seem to have the highest level of interest. We talked a little bit about the Carmen property on the corner that everybody wants to be in, and what spaces would potentially be available and where the hotel might go if that ends up happening. So, you know, there is a lot of information they gather. It is all a lot of cell phone based, but they do go to a lot of conferences and meetings. Supposedly they have an ICSC conference coming up in Atlanta sometime in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. And so they have one in Vegas and one in Atlanta. They travel all over and meet with these people. And I think that's what you're buying when you hire retail strategies, is you're hiring an employee to be your voice and to try to promote you. So that is what we're paying for. Sure would be nice to land.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for the update. Next on the agenda is the letter in the packet that I sent approximately a week ago from Iris Plastics requesting financial aid on what we are commonly referring to as their phase 2 growth for January 23 through June of 24. They are looking at investing about 1.44 in equipment and tooling and such, and also around $220,000 in facilities upgrades. Since our last meeting, I've been able to participate in a couple of meetings, the Tennessee Central, a couple of meetings with Iris, and one meeting together. And we have been working through some of the issues that Parson Jones brought to light in our last meeting. Some of the challenges he's facing, one of the biggest of which is how do I grow in my current building when the building needs substantial facilities upgrades? And Parson is not in a position to know whether he has long-term lease in this facility. So that is part of the issues we've been trying to work through. And I think we've made some progress. During those meetings, it was suggested to me by Charlie Lyons that the Industrial Development Board consider applying for a grant through Tennessee Central to help Iris Plastics with some of these facilities upgrades. And the thinking and the conversations that we were having is like, well, Parson needs help with this building. He doesn't know how long he's going to be able to stay there. And if we apply for a grant through Tennessee Central to improve Tennessee Central's property, perhaps that will be an easy sell for Tennessee Central's board. And so that is what we've been conversing about on and off. And we've talked a little bit about what amount we might go after, but that's really up to this board. First of all, to give me authorization to even apply for it. But I would also then need an amount to apply for. And if, you know, we can specify that we're going to earmark it for facilities upgrades, so that money basically stays in Trousdale. No matter what. So it appears to be a win-win for both Tennessee Central and for Irish Classics. So with that, I have sent substantial amount of information to you to look at. I hope you've had time to go over it. But, you know, Irish Plastics is looking at making a very significant investment. And they also need about $205,000 or $220,000 worth of power to the building. So they have substantial needs. If you flip to page 2, you'll see a chart there that are facility direct costs that they did not have in their financial plan for growth. They're paying for power, but these are other outstanding expenses that are building facility related. So with that, what I think I would like to do is open the floor for discussion. I've asked Director Jones to be here tonight to answer any questions you might have surrounding this information. But I'd like to just start this end of the table with you, Paul, and just go around the room and give the rest of us your thoughts on whether we should pursue this and at what level.
So I have looked through this and talked to Scott before. I mean, I think this is a business that they want to support. It makes sense to me to spend money on the facility, because if Irish Plastic decides to leave, the money stays with Sped, so that's definitely the win. You know, Tennessee Central's already kind of saying, apply for this, here it is, apply for it. So I'd say I'm all for it. Let's figure out a number we think is reasonable. I mean, I don't want to totally deplete the fund, but I think we should hit it fairly hard, in my opinion.
Well, the one thing I failed to mention is the balance in that account is right now, right around $153,000 earmarked for Trousdale County. It accumulates at $20,000 a year. That next $20,000 will come in July. So I think we should bear that in mind when we come up with an amount we decide to do this. Do you have any questions of Carson?
No, I think you guys have done a pretty good job of putting this information together. There aren't a whole lot of questions there. There aren't a whole lot of questions to ask. I mean, it appears to be going fairly well.
Heather?
Do not have any questions at this time.
Okay.
Maybe.
Seth?
I would just ditto what Paul said. Yeah, I think a good proposal to us, and I think we need to support it.
Tracy?
Perfect. Like we need to help this young entrepreneur.
Yeah.
You want to hold?
Or- Okay, so it sounds like we're all on the same page that we want to do something about this. So the next thing we need to decide is an amount, and then I will need a motion with that amount in it. And second, and a vote for me to execute the application for those funds, which I already have in my possession. I looked at it. It's fairly simple, Carson. I think we can sit down and do that together in an hour. Have most of the information, the questions that are asked from the survey, so we go to the bad start on that. So I'll need a motion on that.
I would make the motion that you, apply for a grant in $115,850. If you want to know how I come up with that, it's, I got more than item before.
Item 1 and 4.
1 and 4. That's the sewer line and the roof siding gutters.
Second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for $115,950. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Person, we have some work.
I can say aye.
Well, you managed to muscle this company off the ground and done well.
Yeah.
I think you kind of got what we want.
Take that lean over the past. That was, they go, oh, you don't need to ask, you know, but all.
Tommy, how much? Those bids that are coming in from Kent Brothers, how much over are they going over a lot? That you're doing?
Last bid we had was $1 million over.
So, 115 is wise. Otherwise, it's at 40, like it's
Well, certainly don't have a problem how we arrive at the amount. I would suggest that we don't tie ourselves down to those two specific things, to just earmark it for facilities improvements. And if something changes and one or the other is more important to Iris Plastics than these two, then let them decide on that. But the way that would work is Iris Plastics would have the work done and submit the invoice to Tennessee Central for payment. That's the way they control how you spend the funds. If we lock him down to those two specific items, then that's what we would ask the board to.
Well, the motion was for the 115,950, that's what was passed, and did not specify what.
I agree. I would also say that we need to, if we do pursue the sewer endeavor, what Iris Plastics has quoted is 2-inch force main. I know there's conversations going on about the sewer line running to that end of the property to service potentially other buildings. And so we would want to stay close on that to make sure that Tennessee Central wouldn't want to work out something where they upgrade that line to a larger line for other purposes up there. So I will do my best to stay in the middle of that. So
Say that again, please.
the person had quoted a 2-inch
Right.
line. It is my understanding that Tennessee Central is considering a much larger line than that. To that end of the property to serve the other buildings that are down from Parsons. Parsons located right where
He's the first spot, the
Yeah.
first location.
right where the dock is going to go in. So that's why the consideration for the larger line. I don't know how far down the road they are with that. Do we happen to know?
I don't know the timeline.
Okay. But it is being considered a larger one?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I will stay engaged with them on that and make sure that they don't misspend money or do something.
I just didn't hear what you said, so I thank you.
All right. Very good, moving on. Roll call, it looks like we're meeting again. On the policy, Michelle, can you just briefly tell everyone where we are with the investments that we've raised, what we are yet to raise, and when this might kick off?
Well, really like it to kick off already, but we're still trying to nail down the last few investors. We're getting relatively close. We've established that the site where we're gonna build, the sewer is accessible, the water line is right there. So those are all good things. It's, appears to be zoned correctly. You know, cobblestone is ready to go, but we just got to get the last few investors. I'd like to get about 750,000 more. Might get a little more than we need, like to get there, so. Just because my experience with other things I've done like this, when you get down, right down to, now it's time to rate the check. You get a couple of people that might drop out or go, well, I was in for X, now I'm in for Y. So, I'd like to have a little more money raised than what we really have to have. Maybe not like a dog chasing your tail. But it's getting close, the cobblestone guy would really like to go. You know, if you haven't, just Google cobblestone and look at their hotels. They can build a base for that. This is a 54 unit with an indoor pool. It's a nice hotel. And hotel, you need to do a lot to get to the rooms. So they build a nice hotel. And they do, like, rural area, which can only go over once they tell you it's gonna cost to build, that's what it's gonna cost. They don't, there is no overage. They cover it if there is. So, yeah, so if anybody's got any money sitting around, if they're looking to do, it's not a bad investment. So, we need the last couple of investors. I did reach out to see if there was some funding available through the rural development grant, so we'll see how that plays out too. Any questions?
Still looking for any, are you still looking in town?
We'd sure like to get all the money in town. So far, all the investors are local. We really like to keep it that way. Well, except for Cobblestone, they're the head person in the product, obviously they're not local.
Thank you very much.
And then still beside it, still.
The site,
The side, where's the moon, or is that still under?
well, I don't know that we formally said it, most people probably know it already, that's on the corner.
Thank you for the update. Next, item is number 9. Mayor, do you have any updates that we have already talked about?
If we look at any kind of, doing any kind of research on the impact of 141, I understand that bid that this week to Jones Brothers for 98 million, and that's going to include the other end going into that. But as far as the economic impact that that's going to have on that part of the county, do we need to, does the county need to be doing something, or is there something about it, or what you thinking?
Well, from my knowledge, IDB hasn't been involved with that at all.
We're almost waiting for the party to be doing some research on it, and we thought we like the county's behind to follow on that, but we need to be looking at not only industrial impact of residential business there, but I mean, it's going to change the part, you know.
Is there a firm timeline on that? Yeah.
I think they have 3 years to get built, but, both start, probably, now that they've period before.
They've been working out there a little bit, haven't they?
I'm sorry.
Haven't they been working out there a little bit?
But one thing they did was they started doing core drilling without getting released from the 50 years, so they had to backtrack and get some of that done, but now that they have to bid to Johnson, it's cranked up our way. They're giving them time, 3 years to get it finished, to land, that's what I am.
I think you are right. I think it would make a drastic difference in that part of the county. I wonder how long it will take to make a difference, but it certainly will.
Who would we contact?
I'll find out.
Anything else? Thank you very much. Last item is public comment, could you one in the audience and or the comments about anything that we covered tonight?
Just say thank you. We appreciate you all very, very much. And our employees will appreciate it a lot. And, you know, it definitely is hard to go through the prove it stage, but it's nice to get just a little bit of, you know, recognition, not for self, but just for my collective team. You know, there's a lot of people that are making it happen and they're all from right here local and, you know, it just means a lot to hear some of the basic things. So I'm ecstatic to go and tell them. Thank you.
Thank you for that, person. By the way, you lost 30 jobs.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
We've been looking for this. Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Any further discussion about that? All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.